Welcome to Have a Great Morning. That's the name of the show, Have a Great Morning. If you know me, you know that my message is to go be great and be nothing less. I believe that at birth or even at conception, there were great things, greatness that was deposited in us. And so it is up to us now that we are adults and on the earth that we really begin to walk out that greatness and know that everywhere we step, everywhere we go, everything we touch turns to great. Got it? Not gold, but turns to great. So I want you to join me throughout the week for a boost of motivation, empowering insights, and powerful strategies to help you step into your greatness. Listen, let's make today and every day amazing. I want you to do me a favor. Before we move any further, I'd like you to subscribe. And don't keep this, don't gatekeep, right? Don't keep this to yourself. I want you to share. I want you to let others know about Have a Great Morning, all right? So what I want to do today is hit on a topic that I've been sharing with different communities and different audiences, and that is imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome. Research shows that there's about 70 to 80% of us who have experienced imposter syndrome at one point in our lives. What is imposter syndrome?
Does everybody know what we're talking about when we say imposter? It's like,
I don't really know that term.
Well, particularly for minorities, there's this feeling like because you've been told that you're not good enough, that when you're in a room, you're wondering, well, how did I get here if I've been told I'm not good enough? Women feel it oftentimes because society says you shouldn't be doing that, right? So you feel like an imposter in your own life. You feel like, especially if you've achieved success or you're in rooms that you're not supposed to be in because society has told you that, you think maybe somebody is going to discover that I shouldn't be here, right? That's imposter syndrome. Does that make sense?
Okay, see, my girl explained it. Did you catch what Michelle was putting out there? Okay. Bottom line is there are times in our lives when we feel like we're not enough. We're just not enough. We are fully equipped with the education or experience. We've got, we've put the time in. We have the tools, the personalities, the skill sets, everything that we need to show up and be great. But something inside of us gnaws at us and starts telling us lies that we aren't enough. And that's just part one of it. Part two is not only do I feel like I'm not enough, but I think that the people around me are going to think that I'm not enough. And so a lot of times what we do is, as a result of imposter syndrome, we show up small. We show up anxious. We show up insecure. We lack the confidence that we really shouldn't be lacking because we're fully equipped with what we need to go and be great. And so I want to share two things. You can recognize imposter syndrome many different ways, but there's two ways that really, they really do show up, and you're like, why did I just do this? The first thing is when we show up in spaces, we are over dramatic. We overdo it, right? We try to outperform. We try to, be the loudest one in the room, right? Because we think that by doing that, by overdoing it, by showing up bigger than we really should, that we are hiding, that other people can't see, that we feel insecure, okay? And the second thing that we do is we try to please everyone in the room. We want everybody to be happy. What do you need? Do you need anything? And that's okay. It has its place. But a lot of times when you're acting when that is birthed out of imposter syndrome, you tend to leave that space feeling like, why did I just do that? Why did I cater to that? And a lot of times it is because we feel like we don't want other people to see what we believe is inadequacies, our insecurity. And so we show up in many different perfectionism, right? We try to be perfect. We want everything to be right. And we rack our brain and we take up our time. We spend time in the weeds because we want to be perfect, because we want to show up, because really what we feel on the inside is we feel like an imposter. But I'm here to tell you that it is time for you to walk in your greatness. How do I do that, Dr. Malaika? Well, I'm going to tell you.
Equality.
Don't miss out. Go get your Go Be Great merch today. So let's talk about some strategies, right? Some strategies that may help with combating this thing of imposter syndrome. The first thing you need to do is acknowledge it. Okay, I'm dealing with imposter syndrome. Recognize that it starts here. It starts with thoughts. What you think, limiting beliefs, the things that you have the things that you rehearse in your mind, the things that you say constantly about you, right? Those are the kinds of things that really feed, that really fuel imposter syndrome, right? So for me, I had to recognize, okay, there are some things maybe growing up that hindered or contributed to my thinking that weren't as positive. Maybe I didn't always feel pretty. Maybe I didn't feel like I was a good writer. Maybe I didn't always feel like I was the smartest person in the room. Maybe I was ranked in my classes and I thought, wow, I'm number this in my class, so I must not be that smart. I mean, there's all kinds of things that we think, and I keep it real with you, okay? So there are a lot of things, or a lot of limiting beliefs that come from experiences growing up, interactions that we've had, things that people have said, and we lock it in our minds, and then we rehearse those thoughts. And those are the thoughts that fuel imposter syndrome. So the first thing you need to do is acknowledge that I have got to change my thinking. I have got to redirect my thinking. I've got to reprogram, unlearn some of the things that I continuously rehearse in my mind. And I've got to replace those thoughts with positive thoughts, with thoughts that are true. I am going to recommend for those of you who know God to pray, to also pray, Lord, help me to deal with these thoughts in my mind. This is not how you see me. And so help me to see me how you see me. Okay. So some prayer will work through that thinking. Okay. Rehearsing new messages, right? Replacing the old and rehearsing new messages. Okay. The other piece that I think is important is connecting yourself with people who believe that you are great, that you have greatness in you, who are not going to feed and fuel imposter syndrome. So some of us might have to change who we're with, right? Change who we're around, change who we talk to, change, sometimes when you have great big ideas, maybe you don't bring them to everybody in your circle, right? When you're about to present, when you're about to share information, when you're about to do that thing, whatever that thing is, fill in the blanks, maybe we talk to somebody who's going to encourage, who's going to coach you through, who's going to empower you and motivate you to be at your best and to be great. Okay. So there are some strategies here, some things that we can do to help change, to help really eat at that thing called imposter syndrome. And it's not going to happen overnight because it didn't come together. It didn't form overnight, right? It probably took years of rehearsing and years of experiences and the kinds of things that you've dealt with or where you've come from. So it's going to take some time, but I want to encourage you that you can overcome this thing called imposter syndrome. Tell yourself, I am not an imposter. I am not an imposter. I am the real deal. I am the head. I'm not the tail. I'm above. I'm not beneath. Come on, there are many things that we can start telling ourselves. And so As a man thinketh, so is he, right? That's Bible right there. It is really important that we change what we think, change what we say. And what we think and say is what we will do. Okay? You are not an imposter. And this is the kind of good stuff that we're going to be talking about throughout the week on Have a Great Morning. I want you to start your day off right. And so have a great morning, everyone, and share this, subscribe, and I pray that you go be great and be nothing less.